If finding people is easy, then the hard part of our job is building relationships, understanding their motivations, and helping them make a career choice, whether it's join your company or not. I think we lose track of that a lot in recruiting.
Welcome to Offer Accepted, the podcast that elevates your recruiting game. I'm your host, Shannon Ogborn. Join us for conversations with talent leaders, executives, and more to uncover the secrets to building and leading successful talent acquisition teams. Gain valuable insights and actionable advice from analyzing cutting-edge metrics to confidently claiming your seat at the table. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to Offer Accepted. I'm Shannon Ogborn, your host, and this episode is brought to you by Ashby, the all-in-one recruiting platform empowering business teams from seed to IPO and beyond. I could not be more excited to be here today with Jeff Moore. He is a talent acquisition leader that has been in recruiting for almost 25 years. It's maybe aged him a bit, we're not sure. Prior to Toast, he worked at MathWorks, TripAdvisor, and Google, where we actually worked together. He led recruiting effort for several major product areas there as well. He is passionate about scaling organizations and helping them build consistent processes, behaviors that allow them to maximize their talent pools while also creating equitable practices. So Jeff, excited to hear about all of your brilliant experience and outcomes today. And that gives the people a lot of confidence that you're brilliant.
It's a lot of confidence. I'm not sure. It's a lot of pressure.
Reduce the pressure. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about something that matters quite a bit these days. I think that we've all seen the shift in talent and hiring, the job market that exists today, how people are feeling really exhausted from employers and how they're hiring and what they're doing. And so employer brand has become a really big pillar of building trust with candidates. And so before we get into some of the specifics, I would love to hear from you. Why does employer brand matter, in your opinion?
Yeah. When you think about employment brand, it's really how you tell your story. And it's really easy to forget that you know your story, you know why your company's great, you know why you should work here, you know all these things. Most candidates have very little insight into your story. And so employment brand is really the only way you can be telling your story at any kind of scale to help you either find the right people or have the wrong people self-select out. And so I think it's really important because it allows you to sort of put a little bit of a filter and a little bit of a narrative into whatever the talent market is so that you're not just post and pray.
Totally.
Think about your strategy.
Totally. And I'm excited to get to hear in a little bit how Toast gets down to the zip code level, because I think that's actually not something that's super common, and you guys have some niche openings or strategy around that. But first, we're going to talk a little bit more about how you've built employer brand into recruiting. And the first thing is doubling down. Since you've joined Toast, you've went on this big investment journey to create those differentiators. What does that look like?
Yeah. So our story, right? We're a software company, vertical SaaS, serve the restaurant industry. It's a product that people can see, feel, touch. And when you sort of it's one word, it's a whole bunch of things that really are catchy. Yeah. And so when you think about that, if you can tell your story, you don't have to build out this massive sourcing engine, spend a fortune on sourcing tools. If you can crack that code so that people go, oh, I'm out for dinner and I just tapped my credit card. And that was really cool. Maybe I should check that out. So you're able to sort of take pieces of the culture and sprinkle them out there. And when you've got a consumer facing hospitality business like we do, it's a really easy, natural extension.
I think of you every time I see it, every time I pay on a Toast.
Me or you think of me?
I think of you.
Perfect.
And Toast,
Perfect.
But I associate you
Actually,
with Toast.
that was the goal.
That was just you. Just think, that's employer brand. Everyone's thinking of that. No, that's amazing. And part of that is on ensuring that employer brand messaging is embedded into every candidate touch point. A lot of those touch points actually come from candidate experience programs, and you guys have done a lot to build those out, and you've you have people in this certain role. Tell me more about that role and how you all got to that role.
Yeah, so this isn't anything that's like, this is no Jeff Moore magic. This is something that existed before me. But it's something that I thought was amazing. When I interviewed, part of my interview process was with a candidate experience specialist, Sarah. She's amazing. And she did a tour, a virtual tour, showed me the building, talked to me about the values, talked about the culture, like spent a half hour not doing like, well, here's the benefits. And no, not that. Like, here's about the company. And so I got through my interview with her and I was like, do you have an extra half hour? And she was like, oh crap, yeah. But I was like, I want to know more. I want to know about this because if I'm going to come in and lead this function, I want to know about this.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, we do this for every candidate, an on-site interview. Of course, it was virtual at the time, but it was a way for us to take this normal like scheduling moment and turn it into an experience. And you know, is it this massive experience? No, it's not like there's not banners and parades, but it's more than, oh, I did my interview, I talked to my 5 people, and I'll see if they liked me.
It's more mutual.
It's way more mutual, and it's way more intimate to talk about, oh, here's our values, here's the things that are important to us. Here's what the inside of our offices look like because we know you're virtually interviewing and you're not going to get to see that. We want to give you a little bit of a taste of what it's like here. And you've got to do it at the right appropriate scale, right? You can't just like, we'll do it for everyone or we'll do it for no one. Like you've got to like thread that needle and you don't want to make it like a video because nobody will watch the video. So like you've got to be really thoughtful.
Yeah.
But like that was part of the process that again existed before me that was like, that's gold. Like that is something that can differentiate us. And it's hard to copy because it's authentic. And so it's part of the way we do things. Like every single executive we hire is always like, Jeff, that was awesome. I'm like, great, perfect.
It's a great competitive moat for sure. Previously, you had talked about sort of maintaining an org structure that was designed to be, I think the exact word you used was amoeba.
Yeah.
Move about, be flexible.
Yeah.
How have you accomplished that?
A lot of times it's easy to fall into like, this is my TA org structure. And you're like, oh, I have someone who leads R&D recruiting. I have someone who leads this. I have someone who leads that. And the business grows, the business evolves, the business changes, people grow, people don't grow, people leave, people join. Like it's not a static situation. It's not a static org chart. And if you think about like our growth, we've grown significantly in my time at Toast. What we built for on my first day is not the org we are today. And thinking that you're going to have an org that is going to look the same that whole journey is kind of naive. And so I think part of the trick is you bring on a team, you hire a team, you grow a team, whatever that is, that can do different stuff. And that's how everybody grows, but it's also how you meet the business where the business is. And so like, you know, like I now lead TA, but I also lead real estate because that's what the business needed. So like, you know, in a lot of ways you have to build these organizations in a way that they can just move wherever they need to go because you're not just going to be like, oh, I need to hire, you know, all of this now, and I still have this other piece of the org. And so the org just shifts and changes.
Does that change the way you hire people? Are you hiring for flexibility and agility?
I don't know that you're hiring for it. I mean, I know that like shameless Google plug, I very much have this like general athlete thing in my head. Which was like embedded into my brain, like in a chip
General
from
cognitive
Google.
ability.
General cognitive ability, yes. Do people have high GCA? Yes, then they'll be able to be super adaptive. So it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like, it's certainly not like how we think about talent at Toast and those things, but like me personally as a leader, I'm always like high GCA. Like, can this person just figure stuff out when I'm not in the room? Or I can't figure it out because I'm certainly not that smart. Like, how do we get a team that can do that? Because that's like when you can really do cool stuff.
Yeah, because you had talked a little bit previously when we were chatting about the SWAT teams to surge.
Yeah, totally.
And tell me more about that, because I think I think it's relevant today because there's so many things that can change quickly. And how do you build your team for that? And how do you prepare your team for that? Yeah,
so that was like the sort of thing that you make a call on the fly, where like the business was constantly in this evolution and we could never figure out how many recruiters do I need here? How many recruiters do I need there? It was just a zoo, which I feel like is very normal.
Oh, totally.
Very normal, right?
Yeah.
And then you're finding yourself in the situation where you're like, oh, I've got too many recruiters over here and not enough over here. And you're like, ah. And it's like, well, why don't we just have a team that their job is to just be like overflow?
Yeah.
And that'll be a way for them to grow. That'll be a way for them to learn some new things. Is it going to be weird? Maybe. And maybe it won't work, or maybe it will work. But it's being intentional that, like, actually, I don't want everybody swirling.
Yeah.
So let's sort of limit that group. And then you get this team that can fill any job anywhere.
Totally.
And you're like, we don't have that team anymore. Like, we had that team. We don't have it anymore. But it's like a moment in time where we really needed that particular skill set.
Yeah.
And you just sort of like try it, see if it works. It worked. Do we need it forever? No.
It's a great way to experiment without overcommitting,
Totally.
because I think, especially for TA folks, like I know there's a lot of people looking right now and they were hired when there was like a huge surge. And then,
Totally.
you know, as a human being, even though you understand it's a business choice, like you're let down when something doesn't pan out. But if you kind of from the jump know that you're in this flex spot and you're going to move around, or it's expected that a project might not fully come to fruition, like I think it's better messaging, sure, if you will.
Well, and I mean, I think in general, right, the last, call it 5 years, I've been a zoo for TA. A zoo for TA. And it's like not, like for everybody, like hiring surges, gorging themselves on tons of hiring, bringing in 1 million recruiters, letting go of 1 million recruiters. Yep. So like I think everyone's just trying to do their best, which is all you can ask, and use the right org structures if you can.
Yeah.
Make it work.
In regards to employer branding in the SWAT, I think one of the interesting things is how do you enable them to tell the story when they're changing positions? Because it's, some companies have really unique positions, or you just have to learn so much about so many different organizations. How has that played out?
Yeah, I mean, it's a burden, right? Yeah. Like it's a burden. That's where the employment brand driving the right people to the right jobs helps a ton, because they're not trying to go source pipelines for jobs they don't know.
Yeah.
They're able to find talent. They calibrate quick. They get the right people in the front door. Those things have to work together. You do one, it doesn't work. You do the other, it doesn't work.
Yep.
And then just sort of acknowledging like there's a burden, but you also put them on roles that are like, there's a high repeatability.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to put you on like, oh, we're hiring a VP of blah, blah. Probably not a good role for that type of a team. I'm going to hire 25 recruiters.
Yeah.
That's a great spot, because it's going to be rinse and repeat.
Yep.
They can calibrate quick. They can make a ton of impact.
Yeah. That makes total sense. And you've talked a little bit about sourcing and employer brands' impact on sourcing. And you all had kind of moved away from, as I understand it, a centralized sourcing model to build all of these really like smaller, shallow pools at the zip code level. Why would you do that? And how would you do that?
Look, I think everybody goes into any TA job with like, this is my playbook, which is probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to fall into that trap of like, oh, I come from Google and we had a huge sourcing army, so I'm going to build a huge sourcing army. Mm-hmm. Maybe not. I think that's sort of part of what everybody does. And I think, we did that. We had a sourcing team at Toast, and they were great. And when you start to look at the talent needs that you're trying to have, we do a lot of field-based hiring. Like if you go look on our job page,
local, so like
tons of local reps.
Yeah.
Sure, you can hire Lori on my team's favorite, Sheboygan, Michigan. Hire a sales rep in Sheboygan, Michigan, I think.
Wisconsin.
Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Apologies to Wisconsin. Or Fargo, North Dakota, or Miami. Like there are sales rep and customer support roles like all over the country where our customers are.
Yep.
You're probably not going to post one Toast sales rep job and get applications from around the country. You've got to be able to say like, okay, that's a market,
right?
that we need to really understand. It's not a market with 10 million people.
Right.
There's not going to be 5,000 SaaS salespeople in Sheboygan or in whatever Fargo. Maybe there are, but like, you've got to be able to come up with a strategy that's like, okay, when the post comes open or the need is here, we need to have a little bit of a stable of people that we can go to quickly. But then we also need to be visible.
Yep.
So the people that are in that market know, oh, I can go get a really great sales job at a really great company and start a really great career without having to move to San Jose or New York or Boston, whatever. And so like again, it's kind of pivoting to what the business needs
Yep.
and not getting caught up in the like, oh, we're going to hire 50 of those, so I better build this massive pipeline. Like, actually, I need to build 50 little pipelines
Right.
of really good people, and they've got to be able to be there.
Yeah, already.
Yeah, which
They
is
know
a
the
very
local
different
area.
problem than I think a lot of. It's a very different problem.
Agree.
Super cool.
How do you tangibly do that though? Like how do you find the people in these pools and how do they know about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination, right? You've got your job page, and you've got your employment branding, and you're like got your search engine optimization.
Yep.
You've got your paid marketing ads, and you've got your TA partner that can source and they can go in. You've got your candidates in your ATS, got your candidates in your CRM. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you unleash all of the TA tactics on that zip code and find somebody. You've got referrals from people on the team that are there already. Like, it's literally the same as every other search, but it's just like micro and really hard.
And I'm sure it is very hard. Do the recruiters like familiarize themselves with the market? Like how do you
Totally.
how do you do that?
Yeah, the recruiters are awesome.
In Sheboygan, Michigan.
I'm sure. Right. Right. Sheboygan, Massachusetts. It's going to be the new joke. I'm not going to live this one down.
Yeah.
No, it's the recruiters, they are aligned to territories.
Oh,
And
interesting.
they just
Regional.
Yeah, regional. And they just figure those markets out. Now they pivot and they move around, again, business needs. But like they just get to know that, oh, this type of person is in this area or this company, whatever. I don't know, bad example. Enterprise sales, enterprise car sales. Like that's a good fit for a field AE job.
Yeah.
You should go call all the enterprise people in town. I'm making that up. But like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things like that the team over time gets to understand. Oh, there's a school in town that has a sales club. I'll go find all the sales club alumni from Sheboygan, Massachusetts State University.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to get you to break. It worked. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's
no,
like
totally.
literally learning it.
So there's like a lot of deep research that goes into it then
Totally.
with the recruiters.
Totally.
That's it. It's like
You just have to
interesting.
get scrappy. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you've got to be able to recruit.
Yeah, and know the market, which is
Yeah.
it's. I mean, from the employer brand perspective, I feel like that's where the interesting culture pieces come in because
Totally.
you're not in an office, you're remote, you're in the field.
Yep.
Some people might not even be familiar with what the culture of bigger tech is like
Totally.
and what that means and what the expectations are and things like that. And so then the recruiters have to be able to effectively sell that culture in
Totally.
the field.
Recruiters are awesome.
Recruiters are the best.
They have to be. I mean, like, honestly,
Totally.
because it's really, really important job.
Absolutely.
But it's really, really cool to like be able to go into those markets and find like awesome person after awesome person.
Yeah, it's really niche. Like I think research as a skill set is becoming more important for recruiters because there's just so much information that even if you go onto ChatGPT or Claude, like you just can't get
Yeah.
all of that information. Like you have to dig even deeper.
One might call it GCA.
Yeah. Going back to the tours, what is involved in that? I'm just curious. Like, what do they show you?
They have a slideshow presentation
Okay.
that they go through that has a whole bunch of information, slides and visuals, pictures, and the whole thing.
What swayed you from those conversations to join Toast?
And that conversation,
Yeah, like just in the what stood out
that
to
wasn't
you?
the sway. There were other things that swayed me.
Okay, well,
But that was
in that conversation.
But like for me though, right? So like you go through the process and you meet people and you're like, oh, that person's cool. I could work with them.
Yep.
Oh, that's an interesting TA problem, right? Like I'm a bit of a nerd, right? Like, ooh, trying to fill these field sales reps.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's a tough one. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's not go off and like,
Because I think that if you work at it, if you've been a TA leader for a long time at tech companies, you're mostly trying to find knowledge workers,
yeah,
like software engineers and the like.
hire them by the bucket. I would say that I think if you spent a lot of time at big tech, you probably spent a lot of time hiring big software engineering teams,
Yep.
which is just a different beast because it's
Totally.
like rinse and repeat on steroids.
Yep.
So then you interview at Toast and it's like, this is a problem we need to solve. It's like, okay, that's really freaking cool. That actually makes my brain really start to churn. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
But then like meet people and then you pick up little tidbits, right? Like, oh, we're a hospitality company. Okay, that's cool. Oh, My talk with Sarah, she's like actually got like a hospitality mindset. Oh, that's one of those values. These things tease in together. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is cool, because it's not just like, oh, here's this problem to solve, or here's this cool person, or here's this good thing. It's this combination. I mean, it's the employment brand story.
Yeah.
Good people, cool problems, have some fun, goof around a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it sort of all comes together, and you're like, okay, actually, this is.
Yeah.
This is,
But then you have to back it up.
do have to back it up. It's
You
true.
can't. I mean, that's that's I think what a lot of companies right now are struggling with employer brand is
Totally.
they have all of these ideas of what they think
Totally.
their business represents, and then people start and they're like, well, what you sold me isn't actually what it is, and so you have to have a really authentic version of that. Otherwise, you're communicating an idealistic state rather than like what is actually true.
Yeah, but
I think
also
it's good to be honest with people. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think people, like, a lot of companies have values, let's say.
Sure.
And then you're like, oh, but you don't really live the values once you start. And so I think having a good employer brand also means being aligned with the reality of like what your company has to offer. And you don't have to lie about it.
Yeah.
You emphasize the things that are like really good about your organization.
Yeah, but and also like if you're really playing chess, set checkers, it's like, what are those things that are going to attract people to Toast or Ashby or wherever
Yeah.
that are at a big tech company, and maybe they don't feel like they can make impact because they're on a team of 25,000. So maybe a little part of our employment brand message is come make impact,
Yep.
because maybe that's a breadcrumb. That someone who's at big tech, and maybe they're not looking for a job, but maybe they saw some podcast. And we're like, oh, actually, maybe some podcasts. Shameless plug to get more candidates. But like, is there like a breadcrumb that somebody picks up, and then next thing you know, they're on the phone with a recruiter, and next thing you know, they change jobs.
That's the importance, though, of recruiters being humanizing and not just fully automating a process, because a really good recruiter will look at all of the things in your employer, like your employer brand or your EVP, and say, I think this one is really going to resonate with this candidate. So I'm going to pull on that thread instead of trying to pull on all the threads. I'm going to pull on the one thread that like really is going to resonate with this candidate.
Totally. Knowing their motivations.
Yeah.
Real recruiting.
Real recruiting.
Amazing. I love it.
I love it. In terms of results and outcomes, it sounds like it's been a competitive edge. Is there anything else that you feel has been a real outcome from employer brand?
I think employer brand is also good for the employees, because I think it's just, again, when your employee brand is winning you awards or getting you recognitions, whatever, it doesn't matter. It feels good if you work there.
Totally.
Like, who doesn't love to see? I mean, I remember the days when Google was on the number one on the Fortune 100 for like 5 years in a row. I would talk shit to everybody about how awesome that was.
I believe you.
Totally.
You did that.
But like the whole company would freak out and be so proud of that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's employment brand. I think that helps drive internal engagement in its own way, because it gives you something to be proud about.
It's so true, because not only is employer brand important for people joining, but it's also important for people staying because they feel motivated by the story. If you're really dialed into that story externally, then you're probably even more dialed into it internally. And if people feel like they have a good story line to go with, they're excited and motivated by it.
Especially if it's authentic. You know what I mean?
That's the key part.
I mean, obviously, right? But like, because I think I mean, I'm sure we could all name companies that have these amazing employment brands and they're garbage. But I think if you're doing it right, you're creating this flywheel. If you go on our stuff, you'll see a lot of work from our toast.org, like our charitable arm. It's a huge part of the culture.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of our employment brand. It's real. Team yesterday did this big event.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff I think really resonates and matters because it's real and it's authentic, and you can join and you can touch it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like some mythical phrase.
I love it. Flips page. For those listening at home, we always wrap up with some final questions from which we hear from the guest, which is now on our extended version on YouTube and on our LinkedIn newsletters. So if you're curious to hear about what hiring excellence means to Jeff, what his recruiting hot take is, which I personally cannot wait for, and what he would tell his early career self, you can find it on YouTube and LinkedIn. But without further ado, on these final questions, we talk a lot about hiring excellence at Ashby, and we're obviously trying to enable and motivate teams to get to the place of what they feel like hiring excellence is. And we have some thoughts on it, but I think it resonates in a lot of different ways. I would love to hear, when you hear hiring excellence, what does that mean to you?
That's a great question. I think hiring excellence to me is like finding great talent, like efficiently and like fast.
Yeah.
Which sounds really corny.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think, like, I'm not one of those like ethereal thinking type team leaders who's like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, let's have simple processes. Let's have the ability to find great talent. Let's focus on who we want and let's get them.
And let's have some fun.
And let's have some fun. If we don't have any fun, it's not worth it. But yes, absolutely. Absolutely have some fun.
Yeah. I mean, period. I think it's, when we ask this question, we always get such a variety. It's so funny because I feel like there's no medium answers. I feel like there's people either give sort of like philosophical answer, and then some are like, period, that's it. Hire the right people at the right time in the right role.
Yeah, totally.
And both are, nothing's wrong. I think that's the amazing part about how much a talent leader can influence a culture at a company, of like how people hire and what you're hiring for and how you go about it. My favorite question of all. And for those who don't know Jeff, he's got a lot of hot takes.
Seriously?
I feel like you do.
Maybe not recruiting hot takes.
We're gonna ask, what is your recruiting hot take? I feel like you do. Let's hear it. Let her go.
I've been thinking about this a lot, deeply. I'm just making it uncomfortable. No, I don't think my recruiting hot take is that much of a hot take, but maybe it is.
Everyone boo if you think this hot take is bad.
That's fine.
Okay,
Totally.
go.
I don't mind being booed. I embrace it. When I started recruiting, the most important thing was to be able to find people, like finding talent,
Like sourcing.
sourcing.
Okay.
But we didn't call it sourcing then, it was just called recruiting. There weren't sources because I'm old. It was before LinkedIn existed, and I got like handed a pile of like old resumes or a
Love
phone
it.
book. It was
Yeah.
like, Jeff, go find Windows engineers, okay? And just
Amazing.
cold call until your ear falls off. Okay, I'll do it again tomorrow. That was
Yeah.
how I learned how to recruit. And
Great.
like that was the skill. It was like finding people.
Yes.
Because there was no link, there was no internet. Let's just date myself. There were Rolodexes. And you just had to dial and smile and find people.
Yeah.
Fast forward 25 years. Finding people is a commodity.
You actually have too many people to find. Like,
Right, it's easy.
People find you.
People
really.
find you, like
Yeah.
it's not between all the online tools, Boolean searches, data you can buy. Finding people is not.
Yep.
So like the hot take is like, if 25 years ago that was the thing, now the thing is actually, how do you activate people? The hot take is there's no scenario where there will be a bot that convinces me to quit my job. My first recruiting leader taught me that switching jobs is as stressful as getting married, buying a house, losing a loved one, having a kid. It's like one of the most stressful things you can do in your life.
Yes.
And if finding people is easy, then the hard part of our job is building relationships,
Yep.
understanding their motivations, and helping them make a career choice, whether it's join your company or not.
Yeah, totally.
Like that to me is like, and I think we lose track of that a lot in recruiting. We're like, must focus on our KPIs, must focus on AI. Sure. Actually focus on people. Because like, I'm not going to switch a job because I chatted with like I'm not in that movie, Her. Like I'm not switching jobs
Totally.
because of AI. I switch jobs because you and I have a cool chat and you've got
Yeah.
a great opportunity.
And I think recruiters are really at the forefront of that.
Totally.
Because they're your best, for lack of a better word, like salesperson for the company. Because if you trust the recruiter, you have innately just like so much more trust in the company, because whether right or wrong, like people believe that you are a reflection of that. And I think that is largely true.
100%. So like, that's my hot take. Like AI is not going to convince me to switch jobs ever.
I'm
Robots are not going to take over the world.
with you. Maybe some of it, but like not all of it.
I mean, I want a robot.
recruiting.
I want a robot to clean my house and do my dishes. I don't want a robot to screen resumes.
Amazing. Last question for you here. You have a lot of experience in this space, and so I think that it's interesting, especially to hear from someone who has climbed the ladder, been TA leader at multiple companies. If you could tell your early career self one thing, just one, so keep it limited, what would it be?
I don't know. I think early me probably didn't embrace the grind of recruiting as much as I look back on it and I'm like, you should actually enjoy the grind because that's the best part.
I feel like that's a hot take.
I love the grind
But
because I think at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the job is hard.
yeah,
And I know everybody's like, anybody can recruit. Not true.
not true.
Not true. I know.
Not true at
Hot
all.
take number 7. But I think, honestly, the job, you have to love the grind. You have to love, I filled that job and tomorrow I'm going to fill a new one. You've got to love that piece of it. It doesn't matter if you're an IC. It doesn't matter if you're a sourcer. It doesn't matter if you're the VP of TA.
Yeah.
You've got to be scoreboard all the time, in my opinion.
There's a lot of controversy around the take that recruiting is like sales, and I won't get into it because I feel like it's like
Hot take you. I
it's
got
a
one on that.
nuanced topic. I'm actually against that sentiment personally, but I think where it is similar in ways is exactly what you're saying.
Sure.
It's like you hired someone, okay, well, hire the next person. Oh, you achieve your 100% of attainment. All right, well, let's get some more folks in there. It's like it is that grind. I mean, when I was recruiting at Google, people would be like, well, recruiting at Google must be so easy.
It's so easy. Everybody
And I'm
wants to
like,
work there.
you just have no idea. It's not easy at all. But the reason I went back to a startup is because I too like the grind. I also like the diversity of the grind at startups too.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't told this story a lot about why we call this podcast Offer Accepted. But when we were thinking of names for this podcast, we're like, what is the thing? What is the thing in recruiting that happens? And you're just like,
Away.
hell yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Offer accepted. And you used to turn to all your teammates and high five them. And now
Ring the bell.
we
Ring
do
the
that
bell.
virtually,
Totally.
but it's it literally is the best feeling. Getting an offer accept.
I once told the sales leader, I went to his office, I won't say the company or the sales leader, and was like,
Redacted.
are you watching the fax machine so you can see all the sales roll in? Because in recruiting, I have to convince you to buy the candidate, and I have to convince the candidate to buy you. You don't ever have software that doesn't decide to install once you sell it.
Yeah.
And that didn't go over very well. But to your point, right, I don't think recruiting is like sales. I actually think maybe sales is like recruiting.
Oh.
But it's sort of a little bit of a different
That's a
vibe.
turn.
It's a turn.
I love that. I'm
Offer
excited to hear
accepted.
more about
Ring the
offer
bell.
accepted. Ring the bell. Well, we are coming up on our time for this portion. Where should people go to learn more about you and your work?
I'm easily found on LinkedIn, where I'm not super active and I post annoying things. Or you can just text them fast.
I'll keep that
You
in
should have
mind.
asked.
Well, Jeff, can't thank you enough for joining us, especially being here in person in Boston. Really appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you.
This episode was brought to you by Ashby. What an ATS should be. A scalable, all-in-one tool that combines powerful analytics with your ATS, scheduling, sourcing, and CRM. To never miss an episode, subscribe to our newsletter at www.ashbyhq.com/podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.